I just took an ancestry test for fun with my half-brother and found out he's actually my full brother. Now my mom has some houseplaining to do. Posted by u/numerous_context_255. Hello, my 25F parents divorced when I was 3. They just didn't think they loved each other anymore and started dating other people. My mom got married after 2 years when I was 5 and gave birth to my half-brother 2 years after that. My father married when I was 11, but they didn't have any kids. I live with my mom on weekdays and with my dad on weekends. I have a very good and healthy relationship with both parents and my brother. I wanted to do one of those 23andMe tests since the only thing I know about my ancestry is that my dad is Russian. I was talking to my now 18-year-old brother and asked him if he wanted to do it with me, and he said yes, so I sent 2 samples to the lab. The results came yesterday, and when I opened them, as the title says, we are full biological siblings. I can't be my stepfather's child because my ancestry obviously indicates that I am half Eastern European, Russian, and other parts of Europe, which my stepfather clearly isn't. My half-siblings, well, now full sibling, I guess, ancestry is similar to mine. So that could only mean my brother is my dad's son? I really don't see the similarity between him and my dad, but maybe it's because my brother is a twin of my mom. So, did my mom cheat on my stepfather with my dad after saying they didn't love each other anymore? I'm so confused. But I don't want to jump to conclusions, and I will ask my mom about this today when I get off work, so wish me luck. Update 1 day later. I wanted to say that I really appreciate your support, and I would like to answer some questions before I continue. Yes, my father is my biological dad, not just because he is Russian, but because we have taken a DNA test for another reason, not because my dad thought I wasn't his, so get that out of your head, and he is actually the best dad ever. No, my mom didn't cheat on my dad during the relationship. My stepfather is very Italian, with the accent and everything. Both my brother and I don't have a speck of Italian in the results. His mother would come from Italy and visit us. No, there is no third shooter. Now let's get to the actual update. My mom and I have this tradition where we spend the evening together, like a girls' night, every once in 2 months. I asked her if we could do it tonight. It's 2 a.m. currently, so technically it was yesterday, and she said yes. I went to her house, and we did what we usually do, bake something, eat the baked something while watching a movie of my choice, and talk about things while wearing a weird facial mask. I decided that since the mood was so relaxed, why not ask her the question? I was like, hey, Mom, you know about those 23andMe tests, right? She didn't, so I started giving a speech about the test. After explaining it, I told her I did it with Jordan, my brother, and the results came out weird. She asked what I meant by weird. I told her that the test said we are fully related to one another, and I kind of laughed, but she stayed quiet. I asked her, it was wrong, right? She got angry at me and asked why I did the test with my brother without asking her first. That's when the realization hit me. I got defensive and asked her if she was serious. She apologized and just sat there for a minute or 2. She told me it was a one-time mistake. So basically, 19 years ago, I was at my dad's house napping. My mom came to take me, but I was sleeping, and my dad told her she could come back later to get me or stay and pack my things before I left for her house. She stayed, and they ended up doing the dirty. I was pissed at both my mom and dad and asked her how she could do that. She said it was an accident, that they never did it again after that day, and she didn't even know my brother was my dad's until now. I was angry at both of them. They don't understand how much of a problem this could create. My brother literally had a huge fat crush on my cousin from my dad's side, well, now our dad, I guess, but it faded away. Jesus Christ, I even helped him flirt with her. I don't even know what to say, I'm still too shocked and disgusted. Jordan spent years learning Italian just to speak to his grandma. I think I need to get a proper DNA test without my brother knowing, just to get some kind of closure. Edit. I called my boss and said I can't come in tomorrow. I also called my dad and asked if we could meet so both my parents can talk, and so I can convince him to give a sample for the DNA test. Commenter. Does your stepfather think your brother is his son? Have you or your mom told him this? Ops response. Yes, he thinks he's his dad, and no, we haven't told him. Second update 9 days later. This is going to be a long update, but here we go, I guess. A lot has happened since I last updated. I talked to my dad and mom, and we told him about everything. He reacted like any middle-aged Russian guy with crippling anger issues who has worked for a sketchy Russian organization that starts with a K and ends with a B and may or may not have a G in the middle would react. If you work for the CIA and are reading this is a joke. He was angry, a bit sad, and pissed at my mom, thinking she hid the fact that he was the father on purpose because she didn't want to end her already doomed marriage, and things got heated between them. Okay, I need you to imagine this, a 5 feet 5 inches woman slapping a 6 foot something angry dude, because that's what happened between my mom and my dad. I got between them before my dad could return the slap, and it took a lot of talking and screaming to calm things down between them. But my mom left after a while of not agreeing. It was a complete dumpster fire. Once my mom left, I asked my dad if he could give a sample for the DNA test, and he agreed. I took my brother's sample in a rather questionable way, but I got the job done. The test came back on Tuesday, and yes, my dad is Jordan's biological father. I told my mom that it's time to tell Jordan and that we can't hide this from him. She was against the idea, but I did what I had to do. I called him and asked if he could come to my house if he didn't have classes. He agreed and came to my apartment yesterday. He got in and asked me if everything was alright. I told him that our stepfather wasn't his real dad and showed him the results of the DNA test. I guess I kinda shoved it in his face. He didn't say anything for a few minutes, just kept looking at the DNA test. I sat beside him, not knowing what to do in that situation. I hugged him and asked if he was okay. He hugged me back and said he was alright, but it was so obvious he was about to cry. He told me that he kind of knew that stepdad wasn't really his dad, and I was like, excuse me, in my mind, of course. So, basically, his blood type is AB negative, and mom has the same blood type, while stepdad had A positive, which is a fact I didn't know. You guys see what's wrong here, right? I can't explain it, so Google it, I guess. But Jordan didn't know who his real father was, so he was shocked when he found out that dad was also his biological father. I asked him why he hadn't said anything until now, and he said he didn't want to face the truth. I asked him if he wanted stepdad to know, and he wasn't really fond of the idea. He stayed at my house last night, and I guess he's fine for now. But what's been bothering me is that mom isn't dumb, okay? Stepdad might be a little bit clueless, but mom isn't that oblivious not to notice something was off. She's been calling both of us, but I guess it's not the right time for another argument.